Welcome to another word of the week. Wow. Strength for the middle of the week to see us through the rest of the week. Always good to have you with me. 2222. Well, my mother's birth date was February 2nd, 1922. And so on 2222, this would be her 100th birthday, were she still living. She's been gone almost 30 years, and I am using this time this week even as a time of reflecting, a bit of nostalgia, thinking and reminiscing, remembering things that are very special and precious to me. Perhaps you'll forgive some of the personal references. Our word this week, the word heritage. Each of us has a heritage. When I think of the word heritage, it is a Bible word. Children are a heritage from the Lord. That's the words of the psalmist. There are actually two ways in which I think of heritage. A heritage is something we receive as an inheritance, although the word is applied more broadly, but it can also be something that's passed on. We leave a heritage. Sometimes we say a legacy. A heritage, that which is passed on from generation to generation. Many times when we begin to think about heritage, we think about our physical situation, various details in the lives of our families, things that shape our identity and our understanding of who we are. In the early 1900s, my family served as forest rangers in northern Wyoming. My grandmother, my dad's mother, remembered serving breakfast to Buffalo Bill Cody when he stayed at the ranger station, which also served as an inn. I have pictures that prove that railroading in northern Wyoming in the early 1900s was not an easy job. On my mother's side, my story is a history of the Woodbridge and the Dreibelbus clans, with genealogies traced back into the 16th century in Europe. My story includes the fact that my mother's family in the early 1920s moved by covered wagon to New Mexico. And the family lived there until my mother was about 16 and they moved to Arkansas. There are so many things that one can mention when one thinks of one's heritage, one's history, one's identity. But my focus today is not on our physical heritage, but our spiritual heritage. As I think about my mother, giving honor where honor is due, I contemplate her 100th birthday, and I am most grateful for my spiritual heritage. My mother was a teacher, a mentor, a counselor to many. She was that to me and to my sister. She was the spiritual center of our family. And I identify with Paul's words to Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 1, the faith which first lived in your mother and your grandmother. The earliest heroes of my life were my mother and my grandmother, my mother's mother. I believe our spiritual heritage has much more potential to shape the direction of our lives than does our physical background and history. Tracing our spiritual heritage, thinking about, reflecting upon those influences that have made us who we are spiritually is a valuable exercise. For me, I am who I am. My identity is primarily shaped by my spiritual heritage and the spiritual influences that have formed my values, my vision, my hopes. There have been many influences, many of those who have helped me in my spiritual heritage, but this day I think specifically of my mother. And it is as a result of our spiritual heritage that we have a future and that we understand well that we have a purpose. We have a future that is to be directed by God. We have a purpose. That purpose is a remembering of where we're going. Even as our heritage is a remembering of where we've come from, and our identity is a remembering of who we are. I often write that we are studying words for this life and for the next life. So I hope that you'll take time this week to consider your spiritual heritage as you contemplate your spiritual life and think about the promise of Jesus for abundant forever life. Please know that I'm always ready to share the journey, and I am blessed when you contact me and share life. So we receive a heritage, and we have an opportunity to pass on a heritage to those who will follow us. I'm grateful for the spiritual heritage I received from my mother. And again, I honor her on 2/2/22, the day that would have been her 100th birthday. But I pray that we'll go forth this week with a commitment to help others also experience a rich spiritual heritage in Jesus Christ, that we will put him in our life, on our lips, in every interaction. Well, thank you for sharing this time. Remember that God loves you and I love you. That's the way it's going to be. May we bless others, even as we have been blessed. Until next week, God bless.